You guys see this bullshit? The funniest timeline is the one that we live in. The stupidest possible reason for Machado to meet with Trump was in fact the reason she met with Trump.
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, and I told him this, listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simón Bolívar a medal with George Washington's face on it. Bolívar since then kept that medal.
God, this is so depressing. Yeah, she really bought the lie that Donald Trump isn't giving her Venezuela because she didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Vosh, I'm confused. It's bad for us if Canada goes to China, but America's also the great evil of the world. What do you mean? It's bad for America that Canada is going to China, but it's good for the world that bad things happen to America. Like it's like it is not in our interest that Canada move from us, but because we are the great Satan, things that are in our interest are bad.
For the rest of his life.
We don't know yet what the president's reaction was to that gift. We do know he wanted the prize himself. We should note the Nobel Committee has made clear the Peace Prize cannot be shared
Machado a CIA
or transferred
agent? Yeah,
after it is awarded by the Nobel Committee. The meeting comes as the White House says Trump stands by his assertion that Machado does not have the support necessary to lead Venezuela.
It's humiliating, man. It's humiliating for both of them. Because on her side, her denigrating herself by going, oh, please, I would be such a good slave to America. Oh, I will kiss your boots. Here, have it, my Nobel Peace Prize. I dedicated it to you, but now it is yours. I read in the news that you didn't give me Venezuela because I didn't give you this. Here, have it. That's one. And then on Trump's side, it's just a reminder that everyone believes he is actually that petty. Which he is, but it's a reminder, you know. That being said, I never believed the lack of a Nobel Peace Prize was the reason Trump didn't support her. Didn't she get a huge amount of support? She does not have support of the people who count, which is the generals in government. The government in Venezuela has not been disrupted. The removal of Maduro has not changed the day-to-day operations in the country.
Yesterday, the president called Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, of course, Nicolas Maduro's former vice president, a terrific person following a phone call. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the current Venezuelan government has been extremely cooperative.
Secretary Rubio and the administration have been in constant communication with Ms. Rodriguez and other members of the interim government in Venezuela. They have been extremely cooperative. They have thus far met all of the demands and requests of the United States and of the president.
In Caracas, Delcy Rodriguez delivered her State of the
Union. So it really was just about seizing their resources. Didn't we, all the oil we took from those ships, like the hundreds of millions of dollars in oil, didn't all those get siphoned off to like a bank account in Qatar or something? I read an article on that.
State of the Nation address, she urged her country to wage a diplomatic battle with the U.S., saying, quote, if I ever have to go to Washington as acting president, I will do so standing tall, walking, and not crawling.
Based.
Kristen Holmes is live at the White House. Kristen, is it clear to you what the next steps are for Venezuela? If Trump is still saying...
Yeah, being ruled over by the exact same people, sans one puppet dictator, and being more compliant with American mineral interests, you know? Material interests, not mineral. Well, probably also mineral, to an extent. Machado vows to lead Venezuela when the right time comes. What the f*** is she going to do? Find an even more right-wing U.S. government to put her in? She's going to die 30 years from now in Miami. She's going to die of old age. Like it's not like what you're going to live out the rest of your life in exile, man. She's waiting for the Rubio presidency. Honestly, there's a possibility Rubio would do it just out of spite. Speaking of Trump's approval, I know we said we wouldn't watch this guy, but I need something to coast me up a little bit.
All right, we're talking about these brand new CNN polling numbers out just today on the president's approval rating, which is low, just 39%. He's underwater on all the issues. Inside this poll, there are some rather notable shifts, in some cases, some historic metrics. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. Harry.
All right, everyone, keep your eye out for the Kalshi integration.
We talked about voters saying that the president's term so far is a failure, but put that in perspective here.
Yeah, it turns out that love or presidencies are not better the second time around, according to the American people. Because what are we talking about here? Trump's term was a success or a failure. You know, back in April of 2024, when it came to term number one, the majority of Americans said that Donald Trump's first term in office was a success, 55%. That's a big reason why he was able to get a second term in office. They look back fondly upon his first term in office. But now come to this side of the screen. Now, after term two, year one, how do Americans view it? Look at that. A failure. Fail, fail, fail. 50.
I really do hate people. I really, really, truly do. I think it's just like, to an extent, I can sympathize with people becoming these soulless, vacuous monsters like Hillary Clinton or Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or whatever, because when you deal in politics day in, day out, contempt of the average voter is like the only logical position over a long enough stretch of time, you know?
8%, just 42% say a success. These numbers look a lot more like what it did about 6 months into Trump's term number one than it did looking back upon the entirety of Trump's term number one, which of course gave him that second term in office. The clear majority, 58%, nearly 3 in 5 Americans say it is a failure.
Okay, so this number, 58% saying it's a failure 1 year into a second term, where does that rank historically?
Okay, where does it rank historically? Now, this is a little bit difficult, right? Because Trump has had 2 presidencies, right? Other people...
Yeah, 2 non-consecutive terms. That's extremely difficult to compare to anything else.
Was it 57% failure in term one, however? Fundamentally change the United States of America. Well, on this metric, get this. Trump's second term will fundamentally change the U.S., and the changes will remain well beyond his presidency. In April of 2025, it was 52%. A majority of Americans said he'd fundamentally change the United States. Now it's just 41%.
That's interesting. So I guess that kind of suggests that the average, not the average voter, but like a decent number of people are picking up on the cues that I'm getting that he's a lame duck president. You know what I mean? Like that people are getting the feeling that he's not going to be able to do as much as he said he would, or that he said he could. It's interesting. I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed, if anything, it would go up, you know?
Of Americans who say that term number 2 will in fact fundamentally change the United States. So it's not just that the American people see term number 2 as a failure. They also don't think that Trump is making changes that will fundamentally change the United States and last well beyond. So you just go across this poll and you look at this, not just the numbers right here, right now, but what people see into the future and how people view everything. And it's just a big F-A-I-L.
Okay.
That was great. Thank you, Harry. No Kalshi. We managed to avoid it. I'm assuming they pulled both Rep and Dem, so Rep still overwhelmingly support Trump? Yeah, of course. Yeah, Republican approval for Trump is still like 92% or something. Of course, obviously. Trump is the Republican Party. If a person stops supporting Trump, they stop being a Republican. Like, definitionally, Republicans will always support Trump. It's not the case with the Democrats. Only a minority of Democrats support somebody like Schumer or whatever.